15 yards. Let's see if there's any kind of notable difference. If anything improves, probably gets worse. We're going to find out. Left side's going to be Heritage. Right side's going to be Ruger at 15 yards. They're both ugly. And Heritage on the left, actually not horrendous. At 15 yards, that's in that short 4.5 inch barrel, I think it is, or 4 3/4 or something like that. It's moving in here pretty good. I mean, it's still hitting on target pretty decent. And same goes with the Wrangler right there. Neither one are much to write home about, but I mean, they're still hitting on target. Now I notice the Wrangler likes to tend left. So that's using a couple big paper targets, but let's see how it really works out when it really counts. So if you're aiming for a small concentrated target, such as a swinger down there, let's see if anything's going to change. You don't have this big wide berth to aim into, you get the small concentrated space. So we seem to have the most halfway decent results at 10 yards. So we're going to start off on the left swinger with the Heritage on the lower end. And when we get to the Ruger, we're going to do the right-hand swinger. And that's 6 dings. And now for the Ruger, right-hand swinger, 10 yards. And I believe that was 6 dings as well. On the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits for the Heritage. And on the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits for the Ruger. So that little exercise with the dingers, that's a phenomenon that I noticed while shooting. With the dingers down there, it's you hit or you miss, and that's all it is. So maybe for me, mentally, having that very small focused target where you either hit it or you miss it makes a little bit more difference, because at 10 yards, if you looked at the target, some of those groups are pretty horrendous. But if you look at the dingers down there now, they're not actually that terrible. And all 6 hit on both. So I'm going to show you one more thing. Accuracy aside, okay, obviously it looks like the Ruger wins in that department. But in versatility factor, the Heritage, I think, pulls ahead in that category anyway. So 22 long rifle is great. Okay, they're great for plinking and stuff like that. But what if you want to get that extra little bit of power? What if for some reason, for one reason or another, you're using a 22 as a defensive arm? Well, 22 long rifle will do the job, but not as good as a 22 Magnum. Now if you compare the two of them, the 22 Magnum is obviously a torpedo next to that 22 long rifle. Now the one thing that Heritage does have that Ruger does not have is you can swap out the cylinders for a Magnum cylinder. So real simple. All you do is you put it on half cock as if you're going to load it, put out that loading gate, and on this side You can see the button there. Push that in and you're going to pull out that retention lever. It's going to look like that. Okay. The cylinder will roll out. Stow that in my pocket. You take your Magnum cylinder, roll it in. You're going to replace that cylinder retention rod. And there you go. You just converted it to a 22 Magnum. Now, like I talked about just a second ago, if you have to use a 22 as a defensive arm, now there could be any reason for this. It could be a financial issue, it could be all you can have in your state or territory, etc., etc., etc. Bottom line is, if you're stuck with this, why not go with something that you can actually make more powerful and more defensible? So by having the ability to change this out to a Magnum cylinder, that's a huge advantage over that Ruger as far as using this in a practical purpose, like defensive options, home defense, carry for some reason, you know, whatever. So that's a pretty darn good advantage it has there. Alright, so why am I making such a big deal about the 22 Magnum? It doesn't really make that much of a difference, does it? Well, you tell me. I'm going to start off on the right this time with the Ruger, and then I'll show you the Magnum on the left. And now the Magnum. You tell me if there's a difference. There's the entry hole, there's the exit, and then we'll find the one that flew all the way up here. There's the entry hole, there's the exit hole. Rip the whole back end of it.